Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 76 of the Awkward Watersports Guys podcast. And today we are interviewing Kevin Nobis, managing partner of Bonita Jet Ski and Parasail out of Bonita Springs. Are you guys gonna give me shit? Did I say it right? Bonita?
Yeah, you said, but it's not Bonita, not Bo
All right.
Schembeckler.
They're making fun of me because I was saying it wrong.
Sounded good.
I think I got it right, though. But before we begin, I just want to put it out there that by the time this episode airs, we're going to have our early bird pricing for the Watersport and Boat Tour Conference in Orlando, September 26th and 27th. The early bird pricing is $149, is good until July 1st. And that includes lunches, evening tickets for evening events, all the roundtables and presenting and networking that we have at the event. Kevin was there. Both Kevins. Obviously Kevin was there, but Kevin was there.
Dude, you don't warm it up or nothing, man. You just go straight for the hard pitch on our poor listeners, man. You don't lick nothing. You just stick it right in, fucking raw dog. No KY, nothing, man. Boom.
Well, I let you
our
do that.
convention. Just raw dog in there. I
was gonna save like one episode for us to talk about the conference more in detail. But anyways, early bird pricing, we'll have a link on our Facebook page.
I'm gonna open the next one, bro. Like you're just terrible, bro. Like Jesus Christ, man. You need to be behind a computer. Let me do the hard selling. You do the marketing, man. Like, god damn, dude. That's terrible. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize on behalf. That was great. Don't come to our shit. Pay full price, you morons. Get that early bird now.
Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Where are you at? You're somewhere right now, right?
Are you talking to me or Nobis?
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
From now on, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna say O'Neill or Nobis. We'll just do that so we don't get confused.
I'm in an Airbnb, and I knew this would be like the best recording because of how dead it is. Because I got a mattress above me. I got like a mattress. It's one of those sleeps 20, but it's got like 4 beds in one bedroom. So I'm literally sitting in like a child's. Like, all I need is a sheet down this other side of me here, and it'd be like a fucking tree fort or something, man. Yeah, I'm in Galveston. So, for anybody that doesn't know, me and Sean Walsh, regular listeners to the show, he was a guest. Awesome. About a year back, I calls it how I sees it, man. He's like wanted to get started in the game, and he started doing jet skis, and he's like really busting ass, and he was like looking for some boats, and I had some extra ones, and I'm like, dude, let's fucking partner up and do some shit in Galveston. So Galveston Boat Rental just launched this weekend. And so after, I was in Florida for Destiny for the weekend because everything was crazy. So I shot up here, and he's running the show. It's his business, man. But I'm sort of silent partner, but I wanted to see what he had going on, see what I could throw in there.
Oh, you're not going to be silent. What are you talking about? Silent partner, my ass.
That's fucking very valid. Very valid. I'm like, what the fuck? I'll call him in 3 days. I'm like, we just dropped the boats in. When I dropped my 3 boats in, I was a millionaire. After my first weekend.
Great. Well, Kevin Nobis, we are happy to have you on the show. Kevin Nobis has been a huge listener, supporter of the show. He was at our conference last year. He's one of those operators that truly cares about the industry, truly cares about what's happening for the betterment of all the businesses here. So, Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Me and Kevin met at Arrival.
Yep.
At lunch, dude, before the Awkward Watersports Guys podcast was even a thing, or
right.
And yeah, man, it's fucking crazy, dude. We sat and had lunch together, and I was like, man, this guy's fucking awesome, dude. And we've had a lot of great conversations, and I consider you a friend, man. He's like one of the people that reached out to me when I was in the hospital, and we talked a little bit about the show. And yeah, dude, what is it like? Real recognized real, the kids say, right? You're like a real water sports guy, man. So definitely got a lot of respect from us for sure, dude. How's your season, man? How's everything going so far?
It's been good, man. It's been really good. Yeah, that was wild meeting you at Arrival. That was cool. And then when I discovered your podcast, I was like, that's that fucking dude I was eating lunch with. And I was like, what's the chances of this? And But at that time when I discovered you guys, because I kind of found you a little later after you start, like probably 6 months after you started the podcast, and at the time I found you, I was like, it was 2020, end of 20, end of 21, and I was so overwhelmed and so like didn't know what was happening because of the influx. And you guys, I just want to say thank you so much, because I'd be driving trailers all across town back and forth, and I'm listening to this podcast, and like you were like my mental health counselors. Like I would like relate with stuff you were saying. The light bulb is going off. You're giving me all these ideas. I'm like, dude, these guys are giving away all the secrets. I'm like, I mean, Kevin was like, the way he thinks is very similar to the way I think. I think we agree on 99% of the stuff like that is said on the show. So just want to thank you for starting this community. Freaking awesome. I look forward to the podcast every week, and can't wait till the fall to see you guys at Arrival again, probably, and the conference in Orlando. But
yeah, man, dude, thanks, bro. That's so awesome of you to say, man. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, for sure, man. We try. It's real funny, man. I get like I know like in my old age, like probably some people listen to the show and they gotta wonder like if you're in business for any amount of time, you listen to a podcast, and generally you're always like, all right, what's the carrot? Where the carrot at the, where's the pitch? Where's coming? So one day when this beard is completely gray, I'll probably do some type of consulting, because I'm always like, man, I'm like, I would like to block this show from everybody in our market. I wish I could, like, because there is some stuff where I look at our pay-per-click costs, and I'm like, oh yeah, they've been paying attention. They're listening.
I mean,
Steve gives me shit all the time. He's like, maybe you should not talk so much about what you do on your podcast. I was like, I keep a couple things in my back pocket for for when I do have something to sell you fucking guys. I'll be like, all right, this is the one, NFTs.
So Kevin, tell us a little bit how you got into water sports.
So long story short, I actually was at Ohio State. I met a gal from Naples, and she introduced me to my now business partner, and I ended up coming down to Florida. And, I just started working a beach concession, carrying chairs and renting skis. And, I think I was making $5 an hour cash back in 1998. And I mean, it was pure lifestyle job. I mean, I was absolutely in love with it. My now partner, who was my boss back then, was just a fantastic guy named Bill Hansen. And he just became a real great friend, mentor. And we've got a 25-year relationship going, building this business together. And I mean, back then we had 2 locations. We're down to 1 now. But when we lost the other one, we just put all our efforts into, the one we have now in Bonita. But so, long story short, the first 10 years was, mostly lifestyle and just living it and partying and renting skis and just, working every single day unless it rained. That was just how we did it. And, I think after the economy crashed, we started getting busier and getting more employees. And, I started really learning the business. And, then all of a sudden, the iPhones come out and social media. And, I had made a lifestyle change. My son was born like in 2010. So I really just took all my energies, got a MacBook Pro, got Final Cut Pro, a GoPro, and started learning how to make videos, and just started blowing up, my Facebook page with these little goofy videos I made with skis and dolphins jumping, and
I stole one of those photos, by the way, just so I want to just go on record. There's this great picture that he had, and he called me on it. I had no idea where it came from. I don't even know that I stole it. Somebody on our team fucking probably stole it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll steal pictures. I don't give a shit. But it came up, and Kevin said something in the group. He's like, yeah, it's a great picture. Like, I took it or something like that. I'm like, oh, it's cool. It's crazy. I deleted it. Not the picture, your comment. I'm like, no. I don't fuck this guy. That's original content. What are you talking? It's so badass. Like the dolphins, like fucking like right there. Like, man, it's probably the best dolphin jumping a picture like ever fucking in life, dude. It could be like a fucking headshot of a dolphin. It's so good, man.
Hey everyone, we're going to take a quick break and talk about our sponsors for the month, AMP Agency. AMP is a full-service digital marketing agency that specializes in tour, rental, and destination marketing.
We would not have sponsors on the show if we could not vouch for them ourselves. AMP Agency does a bunch of stuff for Destiny Water Adventures personally. I 100% vouch for this guy. I've handed them over to other companies in the past before they officially became a sponsor, and they have had nothing but great things to say. If you guys are doing your own marketing and doing a piss poor job of it, do yourselves a favor. Hand yourselves over to AMP Agency, specifically Steve Edwards, their CEO, will call you personally and have a great conversation with you about what you guys need to do for your marketing.
Listen, guys, they do pretty much everything in digital marketing. Website development, maintenance, Google AdWords, PPC, graphic design, social media management, SEO, and a myriad of other things. When you choose a marketing company, it's so important to choose a company that knows your industry. And AMP Agency knows activity marketing, especially water sports and tours. They got a promo going for Awkward Watersport Guy listeners for their managed websites. Use promo code Awkward Podcast when you go to amp.agency. Again, that's amp.agency, promo code Awkward Podcast. You get 3 months free and get started with AMP Agency. All right, guys, let's get back to the show.
We get so many of those people, like they always tell us, we Photoshop. I had this group of cute girls, these kids with their parents come up and go, those are Photoshop. Those are Photoshop. And we're like, all right, well, you go on the tour and tell me if they're Photoshop. So they go on our tour and they come back and they're all giddy and laughing. And we got just these killer pictures of these dolphins jumping right next to their ski with them in the picture. I'm like, I told you they weren't. So it was really fun to see that.
Kev, how big is your operation, man? So what do you guys got?
We're just on a small little, we're a beach location. We're on Bonita Beach. We're at a restaurant called Doc's Beach House. We've got, public county parking lots on both sides of us. So we're a pretty sweet location with, public parking all around. It's still limited, but we've got 100 foot of beach and we've got a kiosk and we've got, we run between 20 and 25 skis out of there. And then we've got our Parasail boat and we do umbrella chair rentals, and paddle boards and things like that. And we got probably 20 guys that work for us. We usually work about, in season 8 to 10 guys a day on the beach. And, you need a lot of manpower.
For the chairs.
The chairs. And we do a lot of tours and a lot of out front rentals. So, and like what I changed was I always have spotters. We never used to have spotters and guys go out and keeping an eye on these people because they have to stay in sight anyway. But, I made a change because these newer skis, these VX, the 21s and up, they're top heavy. They flip over so much easier. I sunk so many skis in the last couple of years and hydrolocked a ton of motors. And we had to reduce the weight limit. We had to, and, we had a holiday weekend. We didn't have one breakdown and one sinking all weekend because I had 2 spotters out there all day long. I mean, you got a beehive of 20 skis, 25 skis going back and forth. Parasail captains are pissed. They're getting away from the beehive. And I think, I really upped my game. And I hear you, Kevin, the safety. I like, you're in my head, so I'm upping my game.
Yeah, dude, it's just like at the end of the day, bro, like realistically, if you got 25 skis, what would you realistically need to up your, hey, go get out of here. As I mentioned, like I'm in my kid's bedroom doing this. So it's, Ripley is like the guest, our special guest in about 20 different episodes. It's like the math on it's not that hard, bro. Like labor costs, I get it. But if you had to get somebody for 10 hours at $300, 25 skis, like the math on it's like, it's like, it's like $5 or something like that. Right. And we talk about like the damage protection or the, because we've seen the jet ski damage protection. We've had to play around with that price, but it gives you that flexibility. If you can pop in even another $20 just to cover that ambassador or whatever you spotter or whatever it is, right. It's like how many, again, it doesn't, it affects, in my opinion, it affects your bottom line in other ways. Such as like no more damage, you know what I mean? Or lack of damage, having the spotter, them buying the protection. equals better, more reviews if they bought it, and you got to pay for the damage and whatever, you got enough in that damage fund to cover it, maybe make some profit. And then you don't have the fucking accident. You don't have the ski down. You have 2 more employees. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a way, some way to cover that cost that just, it can be beneficial. I don't even do free ride, bro. I only do tours, and it's not even necessarily like for the safety of the customer. It's just because I need to sleep, man. Like I get a call in the morning, like we have 4 skis down because, you know what I mean? You got a hole punch in the side of one or hydrolocked or whatever because they flipped it. It's like, man, if you can get one of your guys out there to that guy, if they flip it and they see it and boom, he's out there getting it open, you might be able to save that hydrolock. You might be able to save that engine. So it's like, I don't know. And on top of it, I mean, not to tell tales out of school, my partner, who's actually going to be on the next show, he did a holiday pricing on skis at $180 for an hour, dude. I was like, why are skis down? Like, why are we not like running skis? And then I looked at the price and I did the math and I was like, okay, I'm fine with that at gas. Like, I'll keep 3 skis sitting back on the dock because I just got the money for it. And on top of it, we have not, like, since we've gone to straight tours, just the damage, dude. They buy the damage protection. It's just cash in our pocket because they're not smashing into each other because our guide is out there like, nah, stop doing that. Get off his ass. You know what I mean? Like, don't play chicken. Oh no, we lost him. Boom. That was weird.
No, so that was weird.
But anyway, it sounds like you guys are doing the right thing. So tell me a little bit more about like your rentals versus your tours. What do you see out there as far as like rentals versus tours, allocation of resources, that sort of thing?
I mean, so we set aside like the morning tour. We try to push the most skis for. So we'll set aside, if we got 25 skis down there, we'll allocate 12 skis for our morning tour. We'll do 2 6. We don't do any more than 6 skis per tour. So we'll do 2 6 ski tours in the morning, first thing, and then we'll allocate like a 6 ski tour at noon and another one later in the afternoon, depending on the time of year. So during the pandemic, I mean, our tours were, they were half our business. I mean, they're just huge. We were just selling out all summer long. And then all of a sudden, like in March, we were selling out. And then all of a sudden April hit and our tours just started like going down. I was like, of course, our searches were down. And I was just like, whoa. So tour, like, and the summer crowd is more a free ride crowd, it seems. And the spring break crowd, and spring breaks typically for our market, because we're in Southwest Florida, is a massive time of year. So spring break has been the busiest time of year for us ever since we started the business 35 years ago until last summer. Last summer was the first summer that ever beat our spring because of the pandemic. Now, we'll see what happens this year because our spring was pretty strong. I mean, we had tons of weather like you guys were talking about last episode, and that hurt us. We had more refunds than I've ever done, minus the 2020. But had we had the weather, we actually would have beat 21 in the spring. But I mean, it dove off a cliff in May, and we're down. I mean, it's the 31st. I mean, I can just tell you now we're down 50% over last May.
You're one of the many operators I've heard that from, dude.
Well, we're still up 25% over 2019. So I'm going off 19 numbers, and I'm growing from 19. I'm happy,
It's funny, Kevin. Your numbers are almost exact. Like we were down 40% from 2021. Trip Shack as a whole. I mean, all of our markets. So up, but we were up 30% from 2019 for May. So we're kind of in that, I wouldn't say in the middle, but like the middle low range between 2019 and 2021. And I'm fine with that. It was really those first few weeks of May where it's typically kind of slow, but last year was just buzzing because people they were spending money and they were traveling and they were taking advantage of the, that lull between spring and summer and all the good things that, you can get. I mean, I know up here, the rates are substantially lower for lodging first couple of weeks of May compared to the last 2 weeks of May or even summer. So if your kids are not in school yet, the parents are working remote, you have all this money from stimulus. Like, why not go now? I mean, May is the most beautiful time to visit Florida, in my opinion.
Me too.
So, yeah, it's really wild to see it. But like, I look at 2021 and I just try not to even think about comparing. It's like apple to oranges. So but it's crazy how close we are, number wise.
Yeah, that's wild.
I want to switch. I want to like completely take a whole ass left turn. And we can edit this out, Kevin. If are you cool talking about your personal life with like a little bit what we talked about, Arrival, sobriety, that sort of shit?
Yeah,
cool, man. Awesome. It's just something that like I it's like a sort of it means a lot to me, us just having that conversation at Arrival a little bit. So I want to take a left turn because I think a lot of operators, especially guys that come from us being workers first and then moving into, a higher level of responsibility, the routine that we got in as being just an employee, being at happy hour, being in water sports is lifestyle. And especially South Florida, I'm sure your region's no different, North Florida. And it's kind of like an unspoken animal in the roost. There's a lot of guys with mental health issues and substance abuse problems in our industry. It's from the stress or from the party lifestyle, being out there in spring break for lots of years. You start off as a young guy, you go to happy hour, you're partying with girls. And if you stay in this industry as a, like you said, it's like a lifestyle, there's pitfalls in this lifestyle. And, would you mind? So how long have you been sober?
I celebrated 10 years at the Orlando event.
Dude, that's like awesome, bro.
It was pretty wild when I showed up there and I was asked to speak and hang out, do the interview with Doug, and it was bittersweet for me because it felt like I had made it. I was getting recognition in my industry, like, because this is my identity, man. I've been doing this 25 years. It's like when you guys started this podcast and I could relate to you, and like I could feel it, and I could feel it like from you and the way you speak about your business, and I was like, dude, this dude is me. And and
literally same name.
And like, I wish I was a little funnier like you, but the comic relief you give just was so wonderfully accepted when because it just made me feel great about it. But anyway, so I mentioned earlier in the interview that I made a lifestyle change. My kid was born in 2010. I was like, it was time for me to realize it was time to grow up, honestly. That's what was going on. I lived a very fun beach lifestyle for many years, from 98 to 12 years. It was like, I'm very responsible, but my life was the beach and party, but I always got up. I always showed up to work. I don't care how hungover I was there, and I knew that 3:00 was coming around and I could have a beer. That rule changed. That was way back in the old days when a few beers before closing time was okay, but that's not okay anymore.
Not when you own the place.
Yeah. But anyway, so I had to make a transition, and I stopped drinking. I changed my priorities, and I put all my energy towards building the business and taking care of my kid. And my business partner was nothing but supportive, and because he was one of my drinking buddies too. But a lot of guys experience a little backlash if you quit drinking. Everybody's like, "Oh man, well, you're not going to drink." Be like, you know what? That's my personal choice. You know what? You want to drink? That's cool. I got no problem with that. And I've had guys on my teams that have had some substance abuse issues, and I steer them in the right direction. And if they screw up, I cut them. You're gone. I said that doesn't fly in my business anymore. I don't drug test. I don't. Everyone's gonna smoke a little weed and do what they're gonna do. And I live and let live. I don't tell you how to live your life. If you're doing your job and you're respectable and do what you want in your own free time and it's not affecting your performance, I got no problems. So but when I do see a problem, I try to tell these guys, listen, man, it's not a good look for you. This is not the way to live. But I preach a little bit, but if they screw up, I cut them. You know, I had to cut a guy about 6 months ago. Showed up drinking at our CPR meeting, and he thought it was okay to start drinking beers while we're having our CPR class, and then he just took off. And the next day, he shows up to work. I'm like, bro, you sealed your fate, bud. You're done. I'm sorry. You know, you're not coming back. And like in the old days, you give everybody a second, third, fourth chance, but then I lose respect. And like, and then my guys are like, think they can do whatever they want. It's like, that's the old days. The new days is like, no, too much responsibility out there, too much safety.
I know 4 guys. I got to make sure I got this right. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that I know in water sports that committed suicide. Every single one of them had substance abuse problems, fucking drank 7 days a week, you know, highly depressive. And, you know, and 2 of those guys were Parasail guys. You know, I nobody like every Parasail guy, every Parasail captain I know, every mate I know has a drinking problem. And I'm not saying that all of them in the world do. I mean, Key West is a different animal. But man, when you to be out there when you're driving that boat and you were like, we call it, you know, your asshole puckered tight. You know, we talked a little bit about, unfortunately, just recently there was an accident in Marathon, Florida, and somebody got killed. But when you make a call in that game and you're out there, or you make a bad call, weather, whatever happens, you have a squirrely landing. Anybody who's ever driven a parasail boat knows what an oscillating chute looks like and what your heart feels like when that chute's oscillating and is coming in for a landing. So when a chute oscillates, just imagine like a pendulum on a clock, but up and down as well. So you have left to right, up to down, and you're trying to take this thing and bring them in like you're trying to fucking thread a needle sometimes, and with shaky hands. And so when you get done with that day, if you're in a squirrely wind day or a bad weather day, or you got out there and pushed it and you get done, man, you know, there's not a parasail captain on the planet their first year that they weren't waking up, going, looking outside, looking at the palm trees, man. It took me 6 months after being out the boat that I would like not look out the window and look at a tree and see how the wind was moving. You know, to this day, like I can, you know what I mean? I was on the boat with Sean today, and I was like, and he was like, well, we're going to go out in the bay. And I was like, it's like 12 to 15. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't even have to look at Wind Finder. I could tell you what the wind was. Yeah. And so you go through that in those first couple of years, man, the way you deal with that, when you get done, like you go and you have a shot, you go have a drink. You know what I mean? Like it's fun. Like you said, like the beach life, it's fun. But then it becomes like a coping mechanism. You're self-medicating because you're just like, you know, on edge all the time. That's why I'm so crazy about safety, because of that background, because I've been on the water for so long. Like I've seen so many crazy things happen. Well, I'm like, man, I'm a seasoned veteran captain, and I got fucking Gam from fucking Minnesota out there driving a fucking pontoon boat in a fucking 40-mile-an-hour squall. Like I fucking, you know, she's gonna die on the boat from a heart attack. You know, I'm shitting my pants, and I'm 20 years in the game or 15 years in the game. You know what I mean? She doesn't, you know. So it's like one of those things where even then I still feel it. You know, I mean, we talked a little bit about sobriety at the thing, like, because when I wasn't drinking in Orlando, and no, it's funny how nobody actually really notices. Like once it gets going, like they just keep on getting more bombed, and you're like drinking a Coke, and they're like, "Oh man, I want to do a shot." I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Oh, you don't do shots?" I'm like, I don't do anything. You're hammered. Let me get you home. It's all good.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So
you know, for me, it was about learning how to live my life. You know. It wasn't, you know, learning how to live sober. You know, what do I do now that I don't have this coping mechanism? You know, I bounce stuff off guys that are like-minded, you know, that don't want to have to drink and cope with that. You know, I exercise. I go to the gym. I got meditations. I got, you know, heck, the breathing app on my Apple Watch. That kind of shit. But you know what? The hardest time in my life, besides when I got sober 10 years ago, was last spring during COVID, when I was so overwhelmed and I had to learn to let go. because I'm such a control freak when it comes to my business, and I have to know everything. I mean, every Fair Harbor reservation comes through my phone. Every freaking little teeny detail, every phone call I record, I can hear every conversation from every employee. And then I lost my shit because I could not maintain that control anymore. And I about hit a wall so hard that it was affecting my family life, affecting my personal life. And I had to go to my business partner and said, dude, I can't do it like this anymore. I need help. We need more employees. I got to change the system. I got to bring people from within up, and I need to learn how to trust them. And so I know you've talked about that stuff too, and you had to do the same thing with last year because your baby was born. But that's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done is to let go and trust some employees. And I'm sure Greg's been through that same thing because he has such a big business. But that was like, for me, I always could have my hand on every little detail. But I'm still, like, even last week I reverted some old behavior and like found myself getting obsessed over some small detail. And it's like, dude, what am I doing? Like, everything's successful. Calm down. Just let the team do it. I got one bad review and it throws me off the rails. And I'm just like, dude, it's because I take it personally. It's my identity, and I care. And I'm like, how do I not care? How do I not care as much? I can't not care. So it's been a wild ride, and I'm just learning how to let go. And
maybe it's Kevin's. Maybe it's that name. Maybe like there's some curse, dude. Like you literally, it's funny, dude, because last year I did that. And I preached it, and last episode, I was telling Greg, I was like fucking in the hospital, like watching boats go out in the Gulf.
Dude, I heard that. That was killing me. That was me.
And I'm still, dude. And like all transparency, man. Like as crazy as this fucking sounds, dude. Like I fucking started drinking again, man. After I had my heart attack, bro. Like I fucking like nothing crazy. And I know it's no bueno because my doctor's like, it was like, well, why'd you start drinking like after your heart attack? I was like, well, because I kind of am a little pissed off, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, like I felt like I was doing everything right. Gotta make some life. Everyone keeps telling me I got to make lifestyle changes. I'm like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll stop going to the gym and drinking beers every day. That was my lifestyle before.
Yeah.
But to that point, it's so funny, dude. I got a 1-star from this guy. And I knew that he was not, he sent me like 12 emails. If I did not refund this guy, he'd be emailing me right now. He'd be calling me right now. And he was, oh man, I mean, the rain came and he was on a boat and he got wet. He was not expecting to get wet on this boat, Kev. he's like, my children got wet, my grandmother got wet, and they had asthma, and they were on the boat, and we did not expect to get wet. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, through gritted teeth, I was like, yeah. Who'd have ever thought you'd get wet on a boat? Oh, it's literally, and I knew I could get it past him. He's like, yes, you maybe tell your employees next time that you do not have that go and get on the boat when it is raining. And I'm like, yeah, man, I can't wait to get my wet. And I'm just gritting my teeth, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'll give you the refund. Just, can we please stop having this conversation? Because there's only so long that I'm going to not be like, fuck you, motherfucker! Fuck you, you fucking idiot. He's like, I can't believe I'm having this conversation. And I just slipped one by. I was like, yeah, me too. Me too. I can't believe I'm having this conversation with you. I'm like, I'll give you the refund, please. You leave the 1-star review up too. I'll just leave it up so others can know that you might get wet if you're on a boat. I want everybody to know that. Don't take that 1-star review. Leave it and get the... Yeah, but I feel you, dude. Like me and my partner, we just got into an argument because he tried to pull so info at Destiny Water Adventures catches everything, including my Fair Harbor bookings. And he took it upon himself to remove my notifications. Like one day I was like losing my mind. I'm like, dude, it's like 12. Like, why haven't we should have like 30 bookings? I'm like, why am I not looking at my email? He's like, yeah, I was just clogging up the inbox. And my head blew like a fucking top. Dude. Like my head is cracked wide open. I'm like, that is my fucking, I look at those emails. I look at the bookings. I see what they're doing. I see what discounts are being applied. I look at the fucking notes. There's a reason our marketing works because I pay attention to the fucking booking. He's like, well, what if I just create a whole, no, you're not creating a new email. Info at Destiny Water Adventures is where my fucking bookings come. God damn it. He's on next. We're going to have him on in 15 minutes. I'm just fucking going to yell at him again about it.
We're getting to the end of the show here. Would you like to leave our listeners with a little bit of words of wisdom? 25 years of being in water sports. What can you leave us with?
And 10 years of soberness. I love that part. I like that
right.
part.
Oh God. I don't know, man. It's just, I'm still learning myself every day, like, it's like, they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like, I don't know yet. I'm still working on that. But, for me, I'm really lucky to have a great mentor who was my business partner, who was super patient, who was like taught me so much about when I get squirrely and worked up about this stuff, he can just calm me down and he doesn't get worked up about the same shit I do. Now I pay attention to detail and, I'm the one managing the business. He lives happy-go-lucky lifestyle. So it's easy for him to do that. But you know what? It's just, it's a day at a time, man. And, I've just learned so much in this past year just from what we went through with the pandemic and this explosion of business. And now we're kind of normalizing again, which is, I'm okay with that. But you know what? I've just learned to listen to my team, trust my team, and just hear them out. I find their niche and I build upon that niche. I don't try to make them do something they're not good at or have expectations that aren't realistic for that particular guy or girl, because everyone's a little different and you can't teach, not what Kevin and I have. I mean, and Greg, obviously. But if you just can't teach that thing, either you have it or you don't. And if you have that drive and I see that drive, I'm going to go teach you how to tear down a freaking jet ski motor. And I'm going to teach you how to do this and that. If you want to learn it and you're into it, great. But I've just learned that, if there's some people that are just going to be with you for a few months or a few years, and there's other guys that want opportunity to learn something and stick with it. And I'm going to take you under my wing. But, but it's taken me a lifetime to learn this stuff, and I'm still learning, and I screw up, and I try to promptly admit to my guys when I'm wrong. And if I go off on them a few, an hour later, if I can, or a few days later, the faster I turn around and say I'm sorry, usually the better. But, hey, I'm passionate. I'm intense. I don't want shit to go wrong. I don't want people getting hurt. I want to make a lot of money, all the above. So, I'm just grateful for you guys, and I'm happy to be on your show today. And
we're great. I'm grateful for you, brother. Like, if it's not for you, you know what I mean? There's very rarely we have a community where usually we're armies of one. And you guys, we don't do video, you can't hear me, but the entire time my head's just been like up and down, shaking my head up and down, because me and Kevin are definitely cut from the same cloth. And I got nothing but respect for you and your operation. And it's rare that I can go and sit with a guy and just be like, yeah, man, like we fucking similar stories, same kind of life. Like we all know it, man, and then have the openness to talk about it and share your story. And I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, dude, and sharing us a little bit. Thank you for opening up about your personal life, man. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of things we can't talk about like that, where we don't talk about, and we need to, so thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
And we appreciate it. Well, that's a wrap, guys. As always, make sure to check us out in our Facebook group, Watersport Activity and Tour. We changed the name.
Don't forget the early bird special at the fucking thing, because don't forget early bird special, guys. Greg, after the show,
Thank you, Kevin. Talk about I appreciate that.
Right. Greg's such an honest guy, man. You know what I mean? He's like, you gotta fucking love Greg. I love Greg because he will talk to you about marketing, give you all the keys of the kingdom, help you with your business, but a terrible fucking salesman. I swear to God, sometimes I just like push him on the side, like, here's why you need to join Trip Shock, because Greg fucking cares.
He's got the biggest house out of all of us, I can bet.
Go join our group. It's Watersport Professionals
Activity spelt wrong, but
it got you changed it.
It is changed. Yeah, it's like whatever.
You changed it back. It was driving you crazy.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all for listening, and we will see you next week. And as always, keep it awkward.